Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today we are going to see the report writing. As we know that paper 1 is writing, and in writing, paper 1, the first section is directed writing, the other is the creative writing. In directed writing, you are required to write a report, you are required to write a letter, or you are required to write a speech, or you are required to write an article, or you are required to write an account, or you are required to write a brochure. Later we have practiced a bit, and we are going to practice the report writing today. We might have discussed some report writing before too. We will go into further detail that what is basically the difference between a letter writing and report writing. Obviously, initially there is a difference in the format of a letter and a report, which is very important to understand. What is the difference between the format of a letter and report? How would you know? Because letters can be formal or informal. Reports cannot be informal. Reports are always formal, right? Report तो formally लिखी जाएगी. So, but there is a difference. How would we know that whether it is a formal letter or it is a report? Because the language, the register, the tone would be quite very much the same in that. But there are some differences to differentiate between a report writing and letter writing, and it is very important for you to know these differences so that the examiner should know that you know the difference between a report writing and letter writing. First of all, there is a difference in the format. I've told you before as well. In letter writing, there is salutation, like dear sir, dear madam, or dear friend. There is a salutation. But in report writing, there is no salutation. In report writing, you simply write to, from, and you start writing the report, or you write the subject of the report. Although the formats in Cambridge are not important, but if you have included a salutation, it means you are writing a letter. And whenever there is a salutation like dear sir, dear friend, or dear madam, if there is a salutation, there has to be a complimentary clause like yours faithfully, yours truly, yours obediently, or your loving friend, or your best friend, or your loving daughter or son. So this is the difference. Whenever there is a salutation, there has to be a complimentary clause, and that only happens in letter writing. That does not happen in report writing. In report writing, there is no salutation and there is no complimentary clause. And in report writing, reports are more specific to the details, because reports are usually asked about some incident that has happened. You have to report about some incident, you have to report some inquiry, you have to report some you have to inform your authority about something. So the report writing should include the exact details what you have been asked to provide. We will see anyway an example of the report writing that will further clarify this. I am giving you an example of a report. On a school outing, the owner of a food stall accused a member of young group of not paying for a drink. You were the most senior student present, and you have been asked to give your school principal a clear picture of what happened. It means you are supposed to write a report to the principal. Your report should include the following. Every time directed writing is given like this, you are given 3 points, 1, 2, 3, in every case. And the 3 points that you need to cover. And remember that the total marks in report writing are 30. The total marks in report writing or any form of directed writing are 30. First 15 are for the completion of the task. This is the task 1, 2, 3. If you do not cover these points satisfactorily, you are not eligible for the 15 marks which are for the completion of the task. These are 3 points. If you cover only 2 and you miss 1, you have missed 5 for sure. So make sure that whenever you write any form of directed writing, make sure that you cover all these points. And covering these points doesn't mean that you simply write 1, 2, or 3 lines about it. No, you should cover it satisfactorily. You should cover it completely. Discuss it wholly. Okay? Now see, anyway, these are the 3 points. There is a way to go for you to write to improve yourself in report writing. When, where, and what happened? Incident बताना आपने. Who was involved and what your teacher did? Who, in your opinion, was in the wrong? So this is the report that you need to write to your principal and tell these things. You may add further details if you wish. You can see the report is being started without any salutation. You have not written dear principal or dear madam because this is not a letter. So this is the correct format of the report. Simply the subject, the heading, or you can also write to the principal from your name, date, and then the subject, and then you can start. But these formats do not matter in Cambridge. You are given marks for the content that you are producing. But it is important that you understand the difference between a letter writing and report writing and their formats. Do not use, I keep on repeating that do not use a salutation in report writing. And if you do not use a salutation in report writing, definitely you will not use a complimentary clause at the end. So let's see. Last Friday on 10th March 2006, you see, exact date is given. You can't say that I can't remember the exact date when we went to the trip. No, that will be wrong. आपने imagine ही करना. You just have to imagine the date and the time and whatever. So be specific when you are writing it. I was with my class traveling to the school bus from Ahmedabad to Lahore. Again, the specific detail is given. You're not saying that we were on our way to Lahore. I don't exactly remember the place we were at that time. No, give the exact detail. Again, you only have to imagine this. We were going to the theatre to see Macbeth by William Shakespeare, which was which we were studying for our exams. Again, the exact detail of the movie is also given. कि कौन सी movie देखने गए, किसकी थी. It was very hot day and we had been traveling for more than 2 hours when the driver stopped by the roadside where there were stall holders selling snacks and drinks. Mr. Rizvi, name is also mentioned. Don't say that I don't remember the exact name of that teacher. He doesn't teaches us. He doesn't teach us, or she doesn't teach us. Mr. Rizvi gave us permission to buy what we wanted and return to the bus in 5 minutes. Very specific details again. So whenever you're writing a report, give specific details, give exact details, don't be ambiguous. And secondly, very important thing is that you are writing a report, it is being written in the past tense. Report जब भी लिखेंगे, narrative, whenever you are writing a narrative, write in the past tense. And it is very simple to write the past tense. Instead of writing have, we have used had. Instead of writing wanted, against the past form. Always use second form of the verb when you're writing in the past and past indefinite especially. Whenever you're writing in the past, use second form of the verb. Use was instead of is. Use were instead of are. Use had instead of has or have. Use did in place of do or does. And you are there almost. So make sure that if you are writing a report, you are writing it in the correct tense, and that is the past tense because the event has happened in the past. Some girls shared their money with those who did not have any. You see, the first point is covered. The first is where, when, where, and what happened. You have told the place where it happened, where it happened. You have told the exact date and day, and who was involved in that teacher and what the teacher did is now being discussed. Some girls shared their money with those who did not have any, but nobody shared with Ruxana. I saw her join a crowd of girls around one stall and take one of the bottles of Coca-Cola and run back to the bus. The stallholder saw that Ruxana had taken it without paying. You can see it is consistently being in the past tense. And when the other girls had bought their drinks, he ran to the bus to demand payment. Had, past form. Bought, past form. Ran, past form. But that time Mr. Rizvi had told the bus driver to set off, and the stallholder banged on the window. Bang means hit hard, claiming that one girl had not paid him. Mr. Rizvi asked if all the girls had paid for our drinks, and we all, including Ruxana, swore we had. Mr. Rizvi then told the man that his accusation was false because All the girls had paid. Our bus then left the stallholder behind, shouting and looking very angry. Now see how uh, appropriately the second point is being covered. Who was involved and what your teacher did. You told what your teacher did and you told what exactly happened. And in the past tense, using the correct grammar, using the correct form of verb, correct spellings. Ruxana brought dishonor on herself. This is the last point being covered, which is who, in your opinion, was in the wrong. Ruxana brought dishonor on herself and the school for stealing, and she made her crime even worse by lying to Mr. Rizvi. Perhaps I should have shared my money with her, but I only had enough for one drink. Name or signature and date. No complimentary clause because this is not a letter. Be careful and see how the details are being covered. The whole scene is described very appropriately. Name of the teacher is there, name of that girl is there. You didn't write that I don't exactly remember the name of the girl because she's not in our class. You only have to imagine that name. You have only have to assume that name, whatever the name is. The incident, and very important thing is that whenever you're writing some creative thing like report writing, you're writing an incident, it doesn't have to be from the real life. You have to imagine. Writers have good imaginations, we know that. And you are, because they are creative, for creativity you need to have imagination. Don't say that nothing like this happened to us, so how can we write it? Never ever say that. Imagine it. It may be a mixture of imagination and real life, but you have to imagine to be creative. So this is the report, a very good report, a very good example to understand the report. That's why I showed you this. Your task is to write the same report, but your report should be different from this one. I will send you this document as well, example of this report, and you will write your own report. Your own report should be different, and remember the points that I've told you. Be careful about it. That's it for now.